There's a lot to learn from scav runs. Sometimes it's an obvious thing, such as don't break your shins, falling from a high height before engaging an enemy, and there are those things that are not so useful, which is just don't get jump shotted by an enemy with a shotgun who shoots midway through the air. Clearly I was upset about this exchange, given that I just replayed it about 4 times. There are those other useful learnings as well, one of them being 5 shotgun blasts to the chest, to the thorax I mean, won't kill a heavily armored opponent, and then there are also those nuanced learnings, which you'll see in a second. But before that, there's one more thing I want to show you. And you also get to run into PMCs who do no life incorrectly and try to outcamp some scavs on factory, late game, and panic and die in a situation that they should have owned. But let's get back to the meat of it. As I spend more time in Escape from Tarkov, I think it's crucial that I learn from my deaths when I try to engage, especially other players. On this scav run, I heard some gunshots earlier in New Gas. And followed them all the way here to Old Gas. You might have heard those footsteps a second ago across the fence. I believe it's the same person we've been chasing. I'm playing things pretty safe, reason being, number 1, I don't want to die if it's a PMC, number 2, if I'm actually hunting a scav and I kill the scav on accident, what's going to happen is I don't want to lose a lot of reputation with the fence, one of the vendors, because if that happens, my gear for scav runs will be crappier, and my buy and sell prices would also not be in my favor. I'm still pretty confident it's a PMC and not a scav. So I decided to do a little call out as a scav in my scav voice. No response, so they're either already gone or they're a PMC. Or maybe they're still a scav and they're just really shy. I really don't know. But the odds are in the favor of them not being a friendly person anyways. So I decided to throw a stun grenade to kind of see what happens. I don't know if they're still in here or not. Seems like no one's here so far. But we're gonna hear gunshots in a second coming from Stronghold. It's the same gunshots that I heard earlier when I was at New Gas, about 5 minutes before the start of this video. You're gonna see in a second that I make a huge miscalculation. So far where we're at is that we think we're chasing a PMC, but what happens is that I see a scav and I make the mistaken assumption that because I see one scav, it means that everyone else from all the gunshots that we hear is also a scav. One reason that that's false logic is because, one second, quick aside here. Here's where I made that mistake. Zooming in a little bit, you see that it's a scav. But again, that doesn't mean everyone else is one. Scavs wouldn't be shooting each other so late in the game. Again, there's no incentive to. I compound and make that fatal error a little worse by making a scav call out. Replaying that again really quick. The lesson here again is to trust my initial judgment and play a little more aggressively smart, but it's all good. I just want to share how I learned from my death on a scav run. Again, just for context, scav runs are free runs, so this outcome really wasn't the worst. I got a free learning out of it. And I'm only going to be able to play better next time. To summarize what we learned tonight, a few things. Number 1, don't break your shins right before an engagement. Number 2, don't engage with people who can defy gravity with a shotgun. Number 3, think carefully before engaging a heavily armored opponent. Number 4, respond well to ambushes. And most importantly, number 5, play confidently and trust your gut if you don't want to end up dead like me.